Guys, we hate to say it, but it feels like it's time we have an honest conversation about Andrew Robertson. Now, don't get us wrong, Robbo is one of our club's greats. He's even a Premier League legend, because, let's be real, left-backs as good as Robertson in his prime don't come around very often. But like everything in life, nothing lasts forever. Just as we've seen with players like Sadio Mane, Joel Matip, and Thiago Alcantara, the time will come when Robertson is gradually moved to the bench and eventually leaves the club. You might think we're overreacting to a few poor performances this season, but the truth is, Robbo's struggles didn't just start this year. So, from the early signs of Robertson's decline to our most recent game against Southampton, hit those like and subscribe buttons, and let's dive right into why it might be time for the club to start looking for a new left-back. Let's be real, when we first signed Robertson for just £8 million from Hull City, who'd just been relegated, no one could have predicted the career he was about to have at Anfield. Our biggest hope was that his arrival would finally stop us from having to watch James Milner put in shifts at left back. But what did we know? Robertson didn't just become an instant fan favourite for Red supporters, he became a crucial part of Jurgen Klopp's system. See, to play the heavy metal football we all loved under the legendary Klopp, you needed two relentless high-energy fullbacks, guys who could bomb up and down the pitch for 90 minutes, making those overlapping runs that would tear opposition defences apart. And Robbo was exactly that. He was like a Duracell bunny charging up the left flank with endless energy, getting the Anfield crowd on its feet game after game. But that's not all. It wasn't just about his work rate and relentlessness. The man delivered insane output too. Robertson hit double-digit assists in 3 different seasons since joining Liverpool. Those numbers are far from normal for a fullback. Robbo and Trent became chance creation monsters largely thanks to Liverpool's aggressive, overlapping fullback style that saw both of them playing high and wide. His crossing was sensational, and given that he was often aiming at forwards under 6 feet tall, his accuracy and choice of when to go high or low were remarkable. All those unreal contributions didn't go to waste. Robbo played a vital role in helping the team secure a Premier League title, a Champions League trophy, an FA Cup, and a Carabao Cup. But as we said before, nothing lasts forever, and it's starting to look like Robertson's time at Anfield might be winding down. And no, we're not being reactionary here. Believe it or not, Robertson's struggles actually began long before this season, or even last season. The first warning sign came in the 2021-22 Champions League final against Real Madrid in France, a title we narrowly missed out on, despite being the better side for most of the game. The only goal came from Vinicius Jr., and to this day, fingers are pointed at 2 players. First, Virgil van Dijk, with some saying he should have done more to stop Valverde's cross. And then there's Trent, who's often blamed for not tracking Vinicius' run into the box, but Andrew Robertson was just as at fault for that goal. He jumped forward recklessly to press Dani Carvajal, leaving Valverde with enough space to create the chance that ended up costing us. This moment may have seemed subtle, but it was a major sign of Robertson's declining positional awareness. Now, don't get us wrong, we know that pressing high up the pitch was always part of Robertson's role, but his sense of when to push forward and when to stay back has slipped in recent years, and it's cost the team on more than just that occasion. We remember the League Cup final against Chelsea, where his timing, knowing when to press and when to hold his position, was similarly exposed. Back when Robertson was in peak physical condition, this wasn't as big of an issue. He had that tenacity to press aggressively, but he also had the speed and stamina to recover and get back into position most of the time. Now, at 30, it's harder for him to bounce back as quickly, and when teams start targeting that vulnerability, it becomes a real problem. This season, we're seeing Robertson press high up the pitch less often than we're used to. This might be a tactical adjustment to cover for his tendency to press rashly, with him now sitting deeper in our 4-2-4 defensive shape. And while Liverpool has the best defensive record in the league so far, conceding just 5 goals in 10 Premier League games, Robertson's performances haven't quite been up to his usual standard. In terms of successful defensive actions, Robertson ranks among the worst Premier League fullbacks this season. The Scotsman has won only 50% of his defensive duels. The same can be said when it comes to overall duel winning too. See, his decision making and managing his dueling approach has been going down the hill, and this season, it's there for everyone to see. So far this season, we conceded 2 penalties, and Robertson was behind them both. Take the Southampton game for example. Sure, the sequence started with Van Dijk mistake, but notice how late Robbo's tackle came in. in. He just jockeyed back to the box and waited for the worst possible moment to put his foot in, resulting in a penalty for the Saints. There could be several reasons for this decline. First, there's Robertson's age. Like it or not, it's unrealistic to expect a 30-year-old to perform the way he did in his prime, especially in such a physically demanding role as left back. We also have to consider how intensely Robertson has played season after season. That high-energy style takes a toll and can impact a player's physical abilities over time. Another example of Robertson's decline was on display in the first goal we conceded against Arsenal. The Gunners targeted the space behind him, looking to exploit it with Bukayo Saka's pace. Not only did Robbo fail to hold his line and play Saka offside, but he also lost the foot race to the ball and was completely outmaneuvered by Saka in the penalty area. It appears that teams have picked up on Robbo's decline because even Fulham targeted the space behind him in our recent draw against them at Anfield. Sure, Robbo might have been playing with some discomfort, but that doesn't justify his positioning here and the way he miscontrolled the ball. It was similar to the Saka goal, but instead of a direct ball in behind, it was a switch towards Robbo's side. What's even worse than his miscontrol is the way he launched into the challenge, putting us one man down 17 minutes into the game. Unfortunately, that's not the only issue with Robertson right now. In fact, if it was, Arne Slot would find him a new role to mask these weaknesses. So, let us explain where the issues really start to become clear. See, during our build-up play, we often look to recycle possession before eventually playing a long ball to one of the wingers or the number 9. But Robertson's passing accuracy has dipped. He's now completing only 83% of his passes. Even more concerning is his long ball accuracy, sitting at just 41.6%. That places him in the bottom 32% of fullbacks across Europe's top 5 leagues. This drop in accuracy could be partly due to his age, but it may also stem from the new role he's playing under Arne Slot's more possession-based system. In this setup, we're trying to keep the ball under pressure before switching to a direct approach, and Robertson seems to be struggling to adjust. But it doesn't end there, because Robbo's final third contribution also seems to be fading. In our recent video discussing the Southampton game, we highlighted how the Reds struggled to break down the opposition's 5-4-1 low block. In trying to do so, we were overloading the left area of the pitch, using all of Robertson, Gakpo, Jones, and even Szoboszlai, who drifted into that side. Here you can see the heat maps of the 4 players mentioned compared to Robbo's individual map. Sure, he was always pushing high and overloading that left side, and you can even see that he had 107 touches from the total of 221 made by all 4 players, but did he really contribute in unlocking the Saints' backline? You can see here the cluster of Robbo's passes, and we can safely say that they were your regular sideways save passes into either Gakpo or Jones. Of all the 83 passes he made, only one single pass into the penalty area was successful. This can only highlight the player's limited creativity when he isn't allowed the space to make his usual overlapping runs and deliver cutback passes into the area. It seems like Arne Slot is aware of Robertson's ongoing decline as well, which might explain why we're seeing more of Kostas Tsimikas this season. Tsimikas has already made half as many appearances as he did all of last season. Another option we've seen at left back is Joe Gomez, who impressed in that role last season and could bring more defensive solidity, especially in one-on-one situations. But does this mean we have enough depth at left back? Absolutely not. Both Tsimikas and Gomez are around 28 years old, so while they can cover the position this season and maybe next, there's still an urgent need to bring in a long-term solution. We believe that left back should be a top priority in the transfer market over the next 12 months. While a new defensive midfielder would also strengthen the squad, the left back spot is arguably Liverpool's weakest starting position at the moment. If you guys would like a dedicated video where we suggest some potential transfer targets for this role, let us know in the comments below. We'll keep saying it, no one can deny Andy Robertson's place in Liverpool history as one of our most impactful fullbacks. His tireless runs and pinpoint assists have electrified Anfield and delivered some of Liverpool's finest moments over the past 30 years. In the Premier League era, we'd argue that only Ashley Cole can rival Robbo as the best left back the league has ever seen. That's a fact. But like all players eventually do, Robertson may need to step back or transition into a more rotational role. Far from diminishing his legacy, this shift could actually help him find his best form again, while giving Liverpool a chance to refresh and strengthen their defence. Whatever the future holds, Robertson's contributions have left an indelible mark on Liverpool, and he'll always be remembered as one of our greats. So what do you think? Has the time come for Robertson to take a step back, or does he still have plenty to offer as a starter? And who would be your ideal replacement at left back? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more content.